Roy Keane just simply dislikes and hates Haaland. Anyone with the Haaland surname. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. I wasn't going to do a video on this, but I felt like this needs to be called out because this isn't the first time that Roy Keane has made a comment about a certain goal-scoring machine known as Erling Haaland. But yet, here we are talking about these two going back and forth yet again. Now, over the weekend, Haaland absolutely obliterated Wolverhampton Wanderers. Manchester City ran out 5-1 winners. Haaland scored 4 of those goals, reaffirming his status and strengthening his position in the Golden Boot race, as well as spearheading Manchester City's title charge for yet another game. Unfortunately for the Norwegian striker, he wasn't able to add to his goal tally for the afternoon as he came off partway through the second half and didn't exactly take to it in the best possible way towards his manager Pep Guardiola. Now, it's probably something that Guardiola may laugh off and just say like he likes the attitude of Haaland wanting to stay on and wanting to score more goals and wanting to be on the pitch, which some managers tend to say in their post-match press conferences, especially when a player reacts in that kind of way to obviously being told they're coming off the pitch to be substituted for somebody else. But Roy Keane took a different approach and decided to call him a spoilt brat. We're going to be talking about Roy Keane's comments. We're going to be talking about Haaland firing back at Keane. And obviously we're going to be referring to the comments that were made a couple of weeks ago by Keane in regards to Haaland being a League 2 striker. But before we get into all of that, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it down there. I'm sure it'll make for interesting reading, I'm sure. Without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Erling Haaland versus Roy Keane. He just doesn't like anyone with the surname Haaland. We all know about the infamous tackle that ended Erling's father's Manchester City career by Roy Keane, and now he's seeing his son achieve brilliant things, do brilliant things, and he really is seemingly bitter about it. And here's my problem with Roy Keane overall. I think he's brilliant in terms of, you know, stories and in terms of a personality. I think he's really good for Sky in terms of, I feel like sometimes he does say things that are a little bit out of the norm that we come to expect from certain pundits. I think he is a bit of a breath of fresh air in that aspect, that he's a bit more direct with his words. He doesn't mince his words, he doesn't beat around the bush, so to speak. He says it how it is, for the most part. I also think there's a little bit of Roy Keane that turns more into this character that he's built up since he's obviously become a pundit over the years. And obviously, the character of him being a pundit is slightly different to him being a player. We know that obviously as a player, he was meant to be this really tough guy, like a hard guy, like this real like tough nut to crack. Like he was going to be like forceful in a challenge. He weren't taking nothing from anyone. And then as a pundit, he's kind of carried that over a little bit. It's obviously softened as a pundit, obviously, as you would imagine. But he still possesses that sort of characteristic of, like, he's a tough guy, he's that guy, he's whatever the case may be. But I just think he turns into it a little bit too much. And I think that when you see certain comments that he makes on certain players, he does seemingly turn into that character too much. And, you know, there have been questions over whether or not he genuinely thinks these things about Haaland in particular, he's been saying about the Norwegian striker for the past few weeks, or whether he's just doing it to obviously buy into the whole media thing of clicks and views and cause debate and cause attention and things of that nature. I don't know fully. I don't obviously know the full extent of the story. I don't know whether he truly believes it or not, but I can pretty much say, like, from my personal opinion, I think he is playing into it a bit too much. I think he's playing this sort of tough nut character way too much, and I think it comes across in his punditry to the point where no one really challenges it anymore. They just go, oh, that's Keane. That's Roy. That's a typical Roy comment, that is. No one really challenges it. A couple of weeks ago, when he called Haaland a League 2 striker. Now, on that particular performance, he had an absolute shocker that game. I can't remember the exact game it was. I want to say it might have been the Liverpool game, the Liverpool City game. It might have been something before that. I don't remember fully. But he was shocking that game. He was absolutely shocking that game. And you know, he deserved criticism for it. But to call him a League 2 striker, for a guy who has been leading the goal-scoring charts pretty much since match day 1. Okay, he's not had the same amount of goals as last season. He's missed a fair few more golden opportunities this season than I think he had done last season. He's still the best of the rest in terms of goal scorers. He is still top of the charts. He is still top and leading the chase for the Golden Boot with 2 games remaining. He is still, I think, 4 or 5 goals now clear of Cole Palmer. Yeah, the guy is still that good. Not bad for a League 2 striker. Haaland fired back this weekend. I think in a post-match interview, I think Haaland said he didn't really care what Roy Keane thinks and feels. And I 100% get and understand where Haaland is coming from. To which Roy Keane replied with Haaland behaving like a spoiled brat for his reaction to being substituted by Pep Guardiola during the game when he'd already scored 4 goals. The game was at 4-1 and City were pretty much home and dry in terms of securing the 3 points that they need to obviously chase down Arsenal with obviously a game in hand over the Gunners. I just think, like I say, he plays into that tough nut hard character way too much. And I think it comes across sometimes in his punditry. I know that he said things about certain performers and certain other players across the course of the past few seasons that, you know, have been a little bit weird. And I feel like, again, if this was a Manchester United player that was shown that kind of fight and that kind of attitude, I feel like he would probably praise the guy. I feel like he would probably praise the guy and be like, yeah, that's what we need to see more of at Manchester United. We need to see more of that energy, more of that passion, more of that aggression, to want to play, want to fight for the shirt. But all of a sudden, because it's Erling Haaland and it's a guy who's come into this league and has already in just under 2 seasons achieved the greatest achievement that Keane ever did in his career, the treble, achieved a Premier League, achieved an FA Cup, achieved a Champions League, achieved a Golden Boot, achieved multiple levels of individual accolades, and is on course to break numerous amounts of records for goal-scoring achievements within the Premier League. And, of course, already has done it potentially in other leagues as well, like the Bundesliga. I feel like there's a bit of bitterness coming out about it. And it's kind of dangerous when that happens. Look, I'm all for pundits speaking organically. I'm all for pundits speaking and saying what is on their minds rather than going through the whole corporate spiel and all the sort of, you know, polite terms, all the sugarcoating, all of the sort of ways of going about saying things that are like, you know what, we have to caveat this and be sort of neutral on this. I like it when pundits say it how there is. And that's why I agree that Roy Keane is a bit of a fresh air in that aspect, as I previously mentioned earlier. But sometimes I do feel like it oversteps a mark. And that's why I feel like his character of being that no-nonsense guy is somewhat played into a little bit too much. And that's why I sort of feel like Sky play into it as well, to try and create the drama, to try and create a talking point for all of the clicks, likes, views, whatever it may be. That's why I feel like that they lean into it a bit too much, because you surely can't be saying stuff like he has been the past couple of weeks without caveating it or without anybody challenging it. Even the guy who's presenting, whose name escapes me now that I've actually started this video, didn't really challenge it much. He basically said, all right, we'll just leave it there then. And then focused and carried on to the next segment. Like, how are you not challenging it? How are you not challenging the aggression shown? How are you not challenging the fight shown? How are you not challenging the way that he probably would have said, if that was a United player, that's what we need to see more of? How are you not challenging the way that when he's called Erling Haaland a League 2 player, how are you not challenging the fact that he's not a League 2 player and he's still leading the goal scoring charts and he's still breaking numerous goal scoring records and reaching new goal scoring accolades and is still leading the way in terms of being the best of the rest in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net? He may not have the overall ability and the overall playmaking of like a Harry Kane, for example. Not yet, anyway. But in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net, there is none more. You should look no further than this guy who is an ice-cold finisher. A killer up front. Yes, he misses chances, and yes, as I've said previously, he's missed a few golden opportunities this year to extend his goal-scoring tally. But the guy will punish you if you give him any more opportunities than what you don't need to give him. Roy Keane's comments for me are somewhat dangerous, because if he oversteps the mark into bitterness and he oversteps the mark in terms of like this seemingly character he's playing on screen, it will influence more people into a field in which I'm trying to break into more and more in terms of obviously football punditry and football and fan forums and football fan community and things of that nature, to which we will start having debates based on, well, Roy Keane thinks this, so Roy Keane must be right because Roy Keane's played the game. And it's wrong. You don't need to play the game to see that Roy Keane in this situation is wrong. You don't need to. I don't need to have played the game at a high level to realise Erling Haaland is certainly not a League 2 striker. Erling Haaland is certainly not a spoiled brat in terms of what he showed towards his manager on that particular day. But the argument is going to be that eventually Keane's played the game. Keane's won a number of accolades and trophies across his career playing for Manchester United, that he must know what he's talking about. So I'm going to side with Roy Keane without any sort of statistical analysis, without any sort of evidence to back it up. I'm just going to go out there with whatever. And we're starting to see, and we are starting to see more and more wild takes by the day. I get that. We're starting to see more wild and wilder takes by the day. But when it's coming from a person of influence, a person who's got a huge, huge, huge platform to say whatever he likes on, I feel like without a particular challenge, without any real evidence to back it up, it will damage. It will damage fan debate. It will damage football conversation. It will damage that kind of thing. So I don't know, maybe I'm looking way too much into it as far as just a bit of a spat and a feud between these two, but I just wanted to kind of throw it out there and just throw in my thoughts and opinions on this particular matter, because for me, Roy Keane needs to be challenged more, and I just want to obviously gauge that opinion as well of you guys and ask that question of you guys. Is Roy Keane wrong in this situation? Do you like Roy Keane's punditry? Do you find it to be completely off the cuff and straight to the point and direct? I'd love to know what you guys think and feel on that. But also as well, like, just for football fan debate, just what do you make of it in terms of that aspect as well? So there's quite a few interesting questions to ask from this. I don't know. Do you think I may be reading too much into it? I'd love to know what you guys think and feel on that one, but I just felt like I should have commented on it probably a while ago. But yeah, I kind of it's been dwelling on my mind for a bit over the past couple of days or so, that I just felt like, you know what, I just need to get it out there and just see what you guys think and feel on that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think and feel on this. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think and feel on this. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it on this particular feud between Erling Haaland and Roy Keane. mainly the kind of things like, do you think I'm reading too much into this? Do you think Roy Keane is right in terms of what he's saying? Do you think Haaland was right to fight back? Do you think that Roy Keane's position on a huge broadcasting platform is the right thing to do? Do you think he plays into a character too much? Because, I say the same with Mika Richards to an extent. I think that his over positive energy and all of that stuff, I think, is a little bit more exaggerated, as is the completely contrasting personality of Roy Keane, a little bit exaggerated when it comes to obviously being broadcast. So I'd love to know what you guys think and feel on this. Like I say, your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will make for great and interesting reading, I'm sure. Hit the like button if you haven't already on the way out. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see you speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.